Deku looks at his hands. A country? They get to one of the spare gyms, Deku being sat in the middle as All Might and Nezu stand away. Nezu speaks. Now Deku, we're going to assess what happened to your quirk. You could freely chop and manipulate yourself before, right? Deku nods, still looking at his hands. Well, from what I've figured out, it seems your ability works outwards too now. We're going to do some testing, but I think I'm pretty on the money. We're also going to find the possible peaks of your power, but if I'm correct, then country level doesn't seem like too much of a stretch. They start small, Deku being told to cut stuff like apples and stuff from a distance, something that he could do. Over time though, they find out that Deku can freely cut and manipulate anything, legitimately anything in his line of view. If he can see you, he can cut you. He's cracked. He can cut himself up into dust to borderline negate blunt damage. He's of course immune to cutting damage. He can cut people instantly, completely one-shotting people. He can rescue people by cutting them up and reforming them. His quirk was like Sukuna's Shrine mixed with like overhaul a little bit. All Might and Nezu knew he was a beast, but what cemented it for them was when they decided to test just how great his power was. They take him on a helicopter out to sea, out far, far away, like where Shigaraki and Star and Stripe had their battle. Deku's told to use his chop chop at max power. Deku looking down would stick a hand out, making a scissors symbol on his hand again, thinking it just kinda looked cool. He looked at the ocean below him, closing his eyes and focusing. He feels a pressure building in his head before he lets it go. Instantaneously, the entire ocean splits. Not a single drop of water at the bottom. They look down, seeing the bottom of the ocean and about a kilometer down being cut. From there, they knew Deku was an S-tier threat. What he just did was the single biggest attack in My Hero Academia history, and that's only a tester of his powers. Nezu and All Might decide it's probably for the best to never tell anyone about what Deku could do, figuring he was legitimately a world level threat at this point, and that if he really wanted to, he could solo every person on Earth. He's sent back to class, the teachers walking in beforehand, looking serious at the class. They stop the class and tell everyone to be wary around him and to not piss him off. They said that his quirk had awakened and that he was kinda unstable. Their excuse for the public being that Deku had reached a state of awakening for a short period of time due to injuries and adrenaline. Though the people do not buy this. Also due to his power up and his instability, Deku was given a pro hero license right away. The commission kind of being scared of what his quirk could do on other students, so they just kind of gave it to him. Like, yeah, they figured. UA and the Pro Hero Commission making it a public record that he passed though. You know, lying again. For about a month after, they all would train him, putting extra hours in to try and help Deku train as best he could. They get heroes from all over, Star and Stripe, David Shield, everyone to come over look at him. Over this month, Deku learns precision and control from the best of the best. He learns how to undo a cut he's made on someone or something else, along with limiting the range and power of his attacks. Though it took a while, they finally trained an absolute monster. When they felt it was finally safe for Deku to properly rejoin his class once more, he walks into class the month after. He looked and felt like a completely different person. His aura itself was crazy. All the teachers follow behind him, walking in with their heads up a little bit. If you've read JJK, he kind of looks like Gojo before, you know, the big fight. Yeah. How his infinity was like pushing everyone back and everything. The teachers join him in class, looking at him with huge grins on their face. They tell the class to follow them to the gym and explain what they've been doing over this past month. Everyone kind of shrugs, following them, meeting them in the gym and seeing the big three. They all get kind of scared. As Deku was training all the teachers, the big three came in and did their thing and beat the ever-living shit out of all of Class 1A, so Class 1A has a little bit of PTSD. Aizawa faces Deku, telling him about their battle with Mirio and how powerful he was, telling him that he completely smoked the entire class. Deku laughs a little bit at this, looking back at 1A. Bakugo in the back is pissed, looking up at Deku, up until Aizawa invites all big three of them to come and fight Deku all at once. The class is shocked, all three. They must have lost their whole minds. Deku's strong, but not that strong. They watch on intently as Deku walks over, a smirk growing on his face. He stares at the floor below him, hands in pockets, until he looks up. Meeting the gaze of the big three, he does a quick scan, looking at all three of them. He could already tell Mirio was the strongest. As he stares, Aizawa tells him to fight, telling Deku to drag it out a little bit. He smirks, watching as they all rush him. He doesn't even move, seeing Mirio pop from the floor below him. Right away, he cuts himself up thin, his body being cut so precisely that it doesn't even look like it's been cut. Mirio slams a fist into his gut, only to find his hand had gone right through Deku. Deku's body turns into mist at the point of impact. Mirio's shocked, shooting himself into the floor again, his danger sense going off like crazy. Nejire then comes in flying from the top ropes. She saw how Deku dodged Mirio. She thought their quirks were similar until she remembered back to the sports festival. She decides to use a max output as she slams Deku with an attack, figuring she would just attack him all at once. Deku, seeing this, rushes up and dodges, doing like a handspring before jumping into a backflip. Mid-flip, he looks in front of him, staring down all three of them. He saw Mirio coming back up again, Nejire above him about to attack, and Sunita ready for his own attack. Deku smirked, as did the teachers. Deku lands and puts his hand out. Just like that, it was over. The max output attack that Nejire sent got cut up from every single angle like it walked through Malevolent Shrine. It dissipated instantly, leaving everyone shocked. Before they could even think about it though, they were done too. The class looks on as in a second there's a huge puff of energy from the attack being dispelled. They watch on as in an instant all three of them are sliced. A huge crack forms in the earth in front of him, the ground beneath him shook and cut. Nejire and Sunita getting split into four and unable to do anything. They sit completely motionless and unable to move, stuck mid-air. Mirio, who was underground and using his quirk, would be completely clueless. Deku looking to the floor. Well, if he won't come to me. He leans down slightly, knocking on the floor a little bit, before, in a second, it peels back. He sees Mirio in his phased form, falling through the earth. Because he can't see, he's still clueless until he finally switches his quirk off. As he does this, he notices that everything around him was missing. Deku from above looks on, setting an arm forward and grasping at Mirio. Everyone's shocked seeing this. He can create a ravine pretty much. And now he's using telepathy? Mirio is yanked to the top floor once again. That was all it took. The crack in front of him and the one from before would be sealed up in an instant. Deku mimes a throwing motion, sending Mirio to float next to Amajiki and Nejire. He stares at the class. So, pretty flashy, right? Once again, no one speaks, unable to in the presence of something this great. Even Bakugo is shook. He knew Deku was strong. He saw it firsthand when it happened. But this? This is too much. From there, we speedrun the rest of the story. UA, Class 1A, and the Big Three, knowing Deku was this strong, would right away enlist his help in the Mirio situation. Not the Mirio, sorry, the overhaul situation, my bad. He gets pissed right away. Like in canon, Deku and Mirio would be out on patrol. This timeline, Deku has his license. As they walk down the street, Deku gets some stares. People amazed he was still alive and kicking. They all thought it was fake. No one dared to approach him, until one did. As they walk past an alleyway, a small girl walks up to him. As I'm sure you already know, this is Eri. Right away, as Deku sees her, he gets flashbacks to Koda on the mountainside. He sees the bandages wrapped around her. The usually calm and funny persona drops, watching as Overhaul steps out. Mirio stares at Deku, knowing he was going to do something. His eyes widen, watching as Deku opens his mouth. Oh hey, you're the one from the photo. Did you do this to this girl? Deku sends his hand up, facing Overhaul, who instinctively tries to grab the wall and use his quirk. Deku smiles. Well, that won't be happening. Don't you just want to chat? He flicks his fingers to the side, Eri watching as Overhaul is decapitated right in front of her. His body falls limp to the floor, but his head keeps moving. What did you do to me, kid? Deku laughs a little bit, grabbing Overhaul's floating head and slamming it into the floor. Now, we're going to question you for a little bit. Come with me. Mirio watches as Deku walked out the alleyway holding onto Overhaul. Not a word came out of his mouth. Deku kneels down next to Eri. It's okay. This freak won't be giving you any trouble anymore. Now, can you tell me where that little hideout is? Eri slowly nods before pointing down the alleyway. Deku thanks her before standing back up. He smirks at Mirio. Well, I'll be back in a second. Can you, get me some lunch? Pretty please? Mirio sighs and rolls his eyes, walking off with Eri as Deku turns back. His face drops once more, walking into the clear white hallways of the Hasaki building. Hasaki? I don't know. Right off bat, he's lost, seeing the cameras littered around the place. Ah, so they're watching me. Well, gotta make it quick then, I guess. Once again, he puts his hand out, this time touching the wall next to him. He stares at the camera before miming, like a duck for the cover symbol, you know, like pointing down a little bit. Yeah. Before he sends a monster slice right down the hallway. It completely melts through the earth, cutting through it like butter. The earth, hallway, building, crust, everything get cut. If you've seen Saitama or One Punch Man, you know how he does that like table flip with the continent? That's what Deku just did, completely cutting a section of the earth, anything connected to it, everything got cooked. He keeps walking, lifting the part that he just cut. Through doing this, he finally finds the base, walking over and seeing the 8 bullets all waiting for him. They all start to rush him as he looks around. He sees the room they did stuff to Eri in, the surgical tools next to a bench, blood on each of those tools. He looks back at the fodder. These people don't deserve freedom. Without thinking, Deku cuts them, but not into 4 pieces. He slices them into dust. The 8 of them being completely gone. Deku sees as the piles of dust slowly fall on the floor, grabbing a vacuum and vacuuming that shit up. Legit, that is every single big bad done. All for One's dead, Overhaul's just ahead. Oh, no rhyme, yeah. Stain is in prison, Shigaraki in the league are in, like, Tartarus and shit. And he has his pro hero license. Like, the only thing left is the class continuing on, but yeah. Due to the league being done, the final war does not happen. The doctor probably just, like, dies of old age or something, or like, I don't know. He works with Hawks on the Liberation Army thing, which instantly gets rid of him. And that is pretty much the whole story. I wish I could speak more on this, pal, because low-key there's so much more to talk about with it, but, like, I got nothing else on it. Like, what other plot points could I cover? Like, you really want to see OP Deku versus, like gentle criminal? Like, come on, bro. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the story. It has been so much fun to write and record, and honestly one of my favorite series on this channel. As you probably know, I'm doing What If Deku Had New Order next, but after that might be a video that's a little bit different from my usual ones. Don't hold me to this, but I think I may either 1, upload a video that's not like my usual ones, which I'm not going to spoil yet, or 2, upload a remastered version of my old What Ifs, mostly my first one because that shit is underrated. The What If Deku had Toto's, like, Boogie Woogie. I love Toto and I love Boogie Woogie, and genuinely that story was so good, but I was just like, oh my god, I was horror back then. Like, I spoke like this, like, yeah, no, good, not good. Anyways, have a good one, stay safe, and I hope to see you next time.